Hello everyone and welcome on The Papier de Rêve channel. I'm Ursula and today I will be painting with you a bouquet of carnation. So for this week video, my bouquet is composed of carnation, red carnation, and some eucalyptus branches. And I do like mix flowers with eucalyptus because I think that eucalyptus is a really great element in a bucket. It adds a lot of energy and some vertical lines that are quite necessary with some flowers. My focus point will be the carnation anyway, because I think that's a nice flower to paint and quite a hard one because of all the ruffle and the petals. So it will be my challenge today to make those petals recognizable. So my first layer is very loose. I've put a little bit of red at first on my paper and then wash it away with a lot of water in order to have a little bit of background, but not too much because I like to keep some white of the paper too. And then I'm adding some foliage, well, an idea of foliage for now, with a little bit of lunar blue, which is a very nice color, very granulating. It will add a lot of texture to my bouquet effortlessly. At this point, my paper is mostly wet in mostly every part. So every mark I am making is diffusing into the other color on the paper, and the result is very soft. And as the last touch before letting it dry, I'm taking back a little bit of color in the flowers in order to give them a little bit more depth and some details in a way in this first layer. And I'm just using a dry brush to get this pigment off the paper. The first layer is always a fun part for me because I don't have to be very careful or think too much about details, because I can just throw color on my paper and let them blend together, and it's just fun and it helps me to get in the mood of my painting too. And like I said before, the main focus point on my bouquet will be the carnation, and I will have to find some tips and tricks in order to make them look like carnation, but without painting them very realistically. So now I'm painting some petals in the flower, and for that I'm just using my brush with fine lines and bolder lines. Just in the pressure of my brush on the paper, I can change this the weight of my line. And I will soften some lines in order to get a little bit more soft effect, and to have this contrast between hard edges and soft edges. It makes the flower look a little bit light and fresh. For the foliage of the carnation, I'm using Quinacridone gold and Indanthrene blue, in order to have this brilliant green I can get with this mix of color. But I'm also adding a little bit of lunar blue in this green in order to tie all the color together. And for example, for the eucalyptus, I will use mostly lunar blue, but a little bit of Quinacridone gold and Indanthrene blue too, in order to really tie the color together and have some sort of unification in the colors. And I'm also using the foliage as a tool to make the flower pop a little bit more. So I think it's quite nice to have warmer green and colder green in the foliage in order to contrast with the color of the flowers. Well, I have to say also that if I choose eucalyptus in my bucket, it's because I do like to paint them a lot. I think that it's a really fun foliage to paint and very easy too, because I'm just using the side of my brush to make the leaves and then connecting them with a fine line, and that's all. But let's talk about supplies now. For the brushes, I've used an Escoda Aquario number 18 and Raphaël Petit Gris 803 number 2 and a dagger brush Rosemary Co serie 39 half an inch. For the color, I've used Indanthrene blue, Quinacridone gold, Winsor red and Lunar blue. And my paper is Canson héritage in rough. And now it's time for the last layer, and I will focus my work on adding some details and a little bit more contrast also, in order to make the flower pop a little bit more. So right now I'm just adding some more details on the flowers, and I'm using the same techniques as before, just adding some marks with my brush with fine lines and a little bit bolder lines, and wash some edges a little bit off in order to have a lighter flower and just an effect of blurriness. And then I'm adding a little bit more contrast around the flower at the bottom left corner, and I'm using Lunar blue to make the color pop a little bit more. It's a cool color against a warm color for the flower, so the contrast makes the flower pop more. And I will make a very irregular edge around the flower in order to add a little bit more texture to it, and so that the flower is more recognizable. And for the last details, I'm adding a little bit more foliage to the bucket with my dagger brush, and I do like this kind of brush a lot for doing that, because they add some sort of random effect to it, which looks really more natural than a very well thought brush mark. And I'm a little bit confused with this stage, and even now that the painting is totally finished, I don't know if I have done a little bit too much foliage or not enough, or I think maybe they are just too much hard edges on the foliage, and I should have softened some edges, I think, but I cannot say exactly what's wrong, but I think that there is a little bit of wrong here, but I cannot, I'm confused. But I do like a lot this kind of exercise, where I have a real subject in front of my eyes, my bucket, and I have to paint it. It's a nice work of observation, and I can also work textures and colors, and it's a really nice way to improve my watercolor skills. And I like painting flowers a lot, so I think I will do that more, because I enjoy it so much. And this video is now ending. Thanks for watching. I hope you like it. Please check the blog post for more information about it, and tell me what you think in the comments. See you soon.